Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Lincoln Journal-Star's Four Downs. I know it's been a minute. Me and Amie still here, still kicking, still alive and breathing after a crazy recruiting period, which thankfully we got the chance to wrap up a little bit, recap, talk with head coach Matt Rhule, get all of his thoughts and takes on how this class came together. And really, I mean, you look at it, over half of it, maybe about 2/3 was built, within the last 3 weeks. Rhule and his staff completely changing over this class, and a lot of it comes in the trenches.
Yeah, and not all of it was remade, right? There were 5 in-state offensive linemen, Nebraska beef, as we've called it in some of our articles leading up to this. But not only that, though, Matt Rhule talked today about a lot of things, not just the recruiting class, and he was speaking about how he gravitates toward the trenches, and that's where he wants to watch, wants to develop. That's where he's, getting his pride and joy, which is something that a lot of Nebraska fans want to hear, I'd imagine, though he did say that he doesn't necessarily understand all of the hubbub about why the offensive line was so bad last year. He doesn't buy it. And so that'll be something that'll be interesting to watch as we move forward.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the offensive line and the defensive line in particular. I mean, these are positions where you see the best players. They're the seniors, the guys who've been in the program for 2-3 years. And obviously, I mean, I think he's taking that long-term view, going after a few of those players early on. But as you mentioned, I mean, the in-state contingent, I mean, some of it was already there, of course, walked into Gunnar Gatula, Brock Knutson, Sam Sledge, all these great offensive linemen, Mason Goldman joining in the last couple of days as well. And, the in-state class as a whole was very interesting this year. We've seen a lot of different FBS recruits. Year before as well was a very big class. And myself, I was wondering, could this 23 class kind of live up to it? And they ended up exceeding it, in terms of the number of FBS recruits. And of course, here at Nebraska, signed 7, which is, the most in 20, 30 years. I mean, I don't even know where to start, honestly, with that, because you look at these great athletes that Nebraska has signed. Of course, the big one on decision day, Malachi Coleman, right here in the backyard, Lincoln East, going back and forth, went on a visit to Colorado, but ultimately, chooses Nebraska today. That's a big one for the program. And, of course, for all these different in-state guys, we've gotten the chance to talk with them, speak with them over the last few weeks, months, years, whatever it may be. There's a real passion for them towards Nebraska, and this new coaching staff did what it took to keep them involved.
Yeah, Rhule said something really funny about Brock today, saying that he was going to go to Nebraska, whether it was Rhule or somebody else. But with this press conference, this is the first time that we have talked to Matt since his introductory press conference. So it's been 23, 24 days, something like that. So one of the things that has slowly started to come together, not completely, is his staff. There are 3 more accountable coaches that they can hire. 2 of those will likely be wide receivers and tight ends, and then another one on defense. Not sure yet how that'll work, depending on where defensive coordinator wants to spend his time, whether that's with linebackers or as a second coach in the secondary. But one of the things that Matt said that stood out to me today was he wants everybody to be on the same page, but he also wants everybody to kind of be themselves. So if Matt wants to be the Twitter king and everybody else wants to be on Twitter, but do it in their own way, like with Ed Foley taking a picture of Runza a couple weeks ago. But no, just like he wants them to be themselves, but also have the same goal in mind. The number one priority is the team. And so far we're seeing a little bit of different personalities, but we still haven't talked to any of them individually yet. And I think that'll come after the new year.
Yeah, the different approaches, but the same messaging. That's kind of been the key thing. And of course, when you've got these guys that he's been working with for several years, most of them, I think that stuff kind of comes naturally. But I think, the final thing that's important to touch on is, of course, transfer portal. I mean, this is something that didn't exist when Rhule was last coaching in college football. It's very much so different, the way that players enter the portal and transfer, all the different things. And so 6 transfer portal additions as of today. Of course, Nebraska can add more in the coming weeks, but you look at some of their efforts and nothing stands out more than quarterback, because lots of questions there. Casey Thompson, will he even be coming back? Will he be at full health? What does he want to do? The different backup quarterbacks that Nebraska has on its roster. So you see them bring in Jeff Sims Jr., Georgia Tech transfer, and Malik Hornsby from Arkansas, both here for visits. Sims ends up committing. He is here. He's getting set to be on campus in January, and that's a big time addition, especially hearing from Rule. I thought his comments were very interesting. He said, "Oh, I wasn't going in thinking, oh, we got to get a transfer portal quarterback." He wanted to get Jeff. He's a guy that ran a different offensive system there at Georgia Tech, but elements of that, the run-based aspect that Rule wants to bring to this offense, it's going to be a big part of it. And having Sims coming in, he's an experienced quarterback. He can step in, he can play. It'd be a very big addition.
Yeah, absolutely. Quarterback, as we've talked about ad nauseum, is one of the most important things. And if Rule finds a guy that he likes and has watched a lot, and also the guys that he's still close with in the NFL have watched a lot, because they're free on Saturdays for the most part, except this time of year. They really like him. One of his unnamed buddies, as he said today, was like, "Oh, go get Jeff." And here we are. So obviously a lot can change between now, tomorrow, spring ball. Where does Casey fit into all of this? Where does Chubba fit into all of this? And the list goes on. But as we saw last year, you can't have too many good quarterbacks.
No doubt. And, I talked with a Texas high school football coach a few days ago, and he said if Matt Rule says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. And so he set out to build a recruiting class, build it in the trenches, keep some top players in state, and he sure did that. Today, early signing day, of course, Nebraska signing over 20 recruits from the high school and JUCO ranks. Again, more may come in the next coming days, coming weeks, transfer portal as well. But I think that'll about do it for our 4 downs here on National Signing Day. Look forward to more podcasts, more coverages coming in the next couple of days and weeks. But for Amie Just, I've been Luke Mullin. Thanks for watching.